Childish, oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out. Childish, oh shit.
Look at this. Thanks for being here. This is our very first live podcast, and you're here. You're part of it. This is also our first one with a guest.
Yes, it is. I didn't know that we were standing right when we came out. What you guys don't know is that Greg has scripted this show like within an inch of its life. We're doing 2 to 5 at the top. And 2
to 3.
2 to 3. Yeah, I misspoke. I will be.
No, it's because I'm a stand-up comic and we're standing at the Comedy Store on a comedy stage.
Right.
And I'm used to standing. But
That's
I will
fine.
sit. It's not in the script, but I will sit.
You should have noted this in the script. Anyway, it's so exciting to be doing our very first live show.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I've done like 6,000 live Corolla shows, and then I've done my podcast a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. I heard an ooh. But it's pretty exciting that this podcast that we created together is now having this momentous first live show with an incredible first guest.
Incredible first guest. And, when we waited because we really wanted somebody special, and we reached out to Adam Carolla, and he said...
He said we could do it, but we had to do it inside one of his cars in his warehouse.
Yes. And we said if we're going to do that, it's Seinfeld. So we got instead our guest, who really was, I think, the first person we went out to, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, that's not true. I don't want to malign him. We went out to Tom Segura and Christina because we had a contest, and people said them.
Yes.
They are very busy, and we're going to do it with them.
Yes, I just saw Christina, and she was like, oh, man, I got to get you guys a date.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that.
So that will happen.
But in lieu of that, our second choice...
Maybe he was our first choice, and we just weren't thinking big enough.
That's insulting.
That's what it is.
He has been dieting really hard for a long time.
Listen, Greg. This harkens back to a little incident that happened on the most recent episode. You can't talk so casually about body size.
No.
I don't like it.
I can. I weigh 150 pounds.
I know. You can't gain weight, right?
No, can't gain weight.
I hate that.
But before you say that, I was a miserably skinny child. I had toothpick legs, and I never wore shorts, and you could count my fucking ribs, and I was embarrassed, and I wore jeans every day until I was like 21 years old. So there's body issues on both sides.
You will never convince me that being too skinny is the same culturally as being overweight. But I have compassion for your plight.
I was also black.
Okay.
Let's bring our guest up. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from Andy Richter Meets the Universe. and Conan.
Andy Richter Needs a Friend is his podcast.
That's right. Please welcome Andy Richter.
Oh, no. We don't want that.
Thank you for coming to the belly room. Fuck you, Greg.
Was that about the weight thing?
Yeah. No, the belly room. That's where you booked me.
Oh, I get you.
Get it?
Yeah.
See? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He lets no opportunity to rub it in, pass him by. I have a question for you, Andy Richter.
Well, can I just say he has so little, so let him.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I know.
He wants to take a swipe at people that have it better than him. Let him go.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I forget that this podcast is like part creation, part charity.
That's
I
great.
forget.
Yeah.
Because he reads taller and bigger, you know? And then when you're next to him, you're like, oh, what are you, like 5'8"?
I'm 5'7" and 3/4. But I thought I was 5'9" until I was about 30, and then I was getting an exam, and the doctor was like, "You're 5'7" and 3/4," and I was like, "Well, I've been living like I'm 5'9". And people have been kind of buying it, so I'm going to stick with that. Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big strapping Midwestern man.
Yeah. Just big old Swedish plow horse. Just sad working. Just plodding through life. One big hoof in front of the other. That's how it goes.
Have you ever felt like transitioning from being a young man to like, I'm a man? Like seeing yourself and believing that you're a man? Like when did that happen, or has it?
No, it hasn't. I'm 52 and I can't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
Because I feel... well, sometimes I feel 14, And then, but I don't know exactly what age it is, but it sure as fuck isn't 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's like old, and I do not feel old,
Yeah.
you know, but
And it's like
I'm
every
old.
time I start to feel like I'm 53.
yeah,
You have to fucking rub that in my face.
sorry.
And
Man, it's great being young.
you won't be for long if you keep that weight up.
Wow.
Listen, I actually lost a bunch of weight recently.
I know, you look good.
Thank
you.
you.
Look good.
Took you long enough.
I know. But I think that, like, when I think about my dad was 53 when he died. So this is a really
Oh, wow.
existential year
Yeah.
to be thinking about the fact that this could be it. And also thinking, like, oh, my God, I'm his age? Like, he was
Yeah.
an old man.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's like when you see those pictures of the cast of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and it's like Ed Asner was 43.
Yeah, right.
It's like Ed Asner was 70 when he was 15. Like, it's just not right, you know?
right.
Like, how the fuck was Ed Asner 43 on the Mary
Yeah.
Tyler Moore
Yeah.
Show? You know?
Bald and thick and
Yeah,
just kind of
but
like
he was.
rough and-
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You know the other person who's always been old is Angela Lansbury.
Yes.
She was in
Well, when she-
Manchurian Candidate, and I think she was pretty young then.
She was.
But she was playing not young.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she was kind of a hottie. That was her early career. She was like a dancing girl hottie.
She
you
was.
know? Yeah.
She lived with Len Cariou. That was her lover.
The kids love our pop culture.
I was gonna
references.
say.
They tune in.
If he hadn't mentioned it, this whole audience would have been Len Cariou.
We're like BuzzFeed trending
Yeah, yeah.
topics.
The mail we would have gotten over that one. How did you not bring up Cariou? Well, you know, the Traveling Wilburys were all like in their 40s.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
Dylan, George Harrison. Was it George Harrison?
Yeah, he was in there.
He was in there.
Roy Orbison.
Roy Orbison and
Jeff Lynne.
Jeff Lynne. And
Tom
they were,
Petty. You said Tom Petty.
And Tom Petty. They were
Yeah.
all like in their 40s.
Yeah.
And it was like a
but
a retirement band.
there's some high miles on those 40
Yeah,
years
yeah.
with those guys.
Yeah,
So that's
I
a
know.
different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lived hard.
Yep.
So I have a question for our guest, Andy Richter.
Yeah.
the Swedish
I'm here to answer
plow horse.
questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have two questions.
All right.
One, how old are your kids, and did having kids make you feel more like an adult?
Oh, yes. They are 18 and, my daughter's going to be 14 next week. And absolutely, the minute I had children, as my sister-in-law said, after like 2 days, I think she was still in the hospital, and we were visiting her, and she with her first child, and she said, "Well, it's pretty plain who the baby is now." Like, meaning it's not me anymore. Like, you gotta fucking get on the stick now, because oh no. And you get that feeling is, like right away, like, oh shit, it's not about me, which it is kind of a relief, or at least for me it was, because I was what was I?
33.
Yeah, well, it was 66, 34
Okay.
when I had my first kid. So I was kind of, oldish for generally, I think, for having kids. I mean, not necessarily for this town, but for the world.
Right.
So I was kind of like, I don't want, like, I'm tired of hanging out with my friends. Let's find an excuse to stay home, like creating a human life. Yeah, that's a good idea. And the other thing that was really interesting about it was how immediately naked the bad choices that my parents had made were. Like, there was just things that, like, they had done. And I don't know if they'll listen to this, but they've been disappointed
They're our
many times
number
by my
one
frankness
fans.
about their shortcomings. But no, there's just stuff that, like, I would think, like, how did he do that? Like, that boggles my mind.
Like what?
Did
Just
they smoke?
No. Just things like kind of having like reasons why wouldn't pursue more of an avenue of a career that could make more money. And there were like all these kind of reasons that just in retrospect were like, you had kids and you just were like, nah, I'm not gonna do that because it's a bummer, you know. And and you know, and it's one thing, okay, you want to, you know, live, and it wasn't as if it was like some sort of artistic choice or being true to something. It just was kind of like there was a whole avenue of his work that was just, he didn't want to do it. And if he had done it, he would have ended up in a position of making more money. And he did, you know, my mom pretty much supported us, you know, as kids. And I just can't even conceive of that, you know. It's not a big laugh getter, but, you know.
Well, you know.
It's okay, we'll cut it out.
Yeah, well,
That's all right, it's all right. Well, and also, too, you know, like, my parents were divorced when I was 4, and my dad lived 4 hours away, and I only saw him 2 weeks out of the year. And I just recently, because I'm going through a divorce, was thinking, I can't conceive of that, like not being 4 hours away from my kids and only seeing them 2 hours or 2 weeks out of the year.
Right.
And they're all like, again, there are all kinds of reasons for that, all kinds of like, well, I can't because of this. And I just think like, there'd be no fucking reasons that I wouldn't see my kids at least every other weekend if I lived 4 hours away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so you were saying that you just went to Hawaii with your daughter. I mean, just
Yes.
in terms of the divorce.
Yes.
You want to talk about how she felt about your social media?
Well, it was, I mean, it was odd because I don't even think it was sort of, I don't know if it was public knowledge yet that we were splitting up, but I had started before that just kind of getting more involved in Instagram because I knew that I was having a podcast coming up, and I just kind of was like, I'll try Instagram because everybody says, oh, Twitter's so shitty and Instagram's fun and nice, and it's like, yeah, and I'm on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty fucking shitty.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'll try Instagram, and we went to Hawaii, and it was kind of in that period. I'd been on it for a while, but I'd been on it in a kind of just an alias name, just to look at stuff that my kids posted. And then I became myself on it, and didn't make any kind of big push for followers or anything. But we went to Kauai. I went to Kauai with her and a friend of hers, like this kid she's known since she's 3 or 4 years old. And I was posting like a sunset, or, you know, what do you call them? The snow cones, the shave ice.
Oh, shave ice.
Yeah, or the chickens running around that are all over Kauai. And she was like, Dad, will you stop putting things on Instagram? I was like, I'm on vacation. I'm putting vacation shit on Instagram. And she's like, yeah, but you're not young, you know. I'm like, there are grandmas posting vacation shit on Instagram.
Right.
And she's like, I just hate it. I just hate that you do it. And then the worst thing was that there were times where I would be trying to do something like put music on it or an effect or put text on it. She'd be like, just give it to me and let me do it. and then she would do it. But she was just still, she was like, I think she thought that I was like, I don't know, trying to be like some groovy young guy. It's like, no, I'm just,
Dad
I'm
likes to
fucking
wear-
Hawaii. Let me pick, you know, it's pretty.
Dad likes to wear a thong on the Big Island.
But I think there's also a thing with teenagers, and I remember this strongly being a teenager, where like the existence of your parents is wearing on your nerves. I remember being at school, and there was this guy, Dave, who I had a crush on, and either his really old dad or his grandfather showed up in this like beat up car, pulled right in front, got out and waved his arms and went, Davey, Davey. And Dave didn't seem bumped by it and just sauntered to the car. That's why I had a crush on him. That's how cool he was.
He doesn't hate his parents.
I would have like log rolled to the car and then berated my mom.
My best friend in high school he liked his family so much that there would be Saturday nights where he'd be like, I think I'm going to stay home with my mom and dad and my brother. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
How can you be that
Like
self-possessed?
I don't
young
know.
person?
And they really enjoyed each other's company rather than like our house, which is like, well, it's Saturday. Bye.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, speaking of vacations, we were in Mexico, and I was playing pool volleyball, and it was like spring break, so it was mostly Mexicans at this hotel, which was annoying. You go all the way to Mexico, and there's Mexicans there, and
Well, that's a mark of a good Mexican place.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food was good. It was legit, and so there was these teenagers, and I was playing volleyball with them, and I would make jokes in my very broken Spanish. And they were laughing really hard and then making jokes.
Yeah.
And then I said to
Were they
my
laughing hard because it was like in an ironic way, like you dork?
In my mind, I'm killing.
Okay, right.
This is not ironic
Right,
at
right,
all.
right. There's only one way to laugh at Greg Fitzsimmons.
That's right. International comedian. And so they're laughing, and then I said to my kids went to a Spanish immersion school, so they're fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I said to them afterwards, I go, so I was killing out there, and like, Dad, they were making ball jokes the entire time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And no one enjoyed it more than them. They love that. Yeah. They taught me the Spanish word for bald. I don't know what it was. Anybody here know what it is? Calvo? Calvo. All right.
There's a lot of
pelón, that means
a lot of
ball,
words
right?
for it.
You sound like you're from Spain Spanish.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Where are you from?
Cuban family.
Cuban family. Oh, very nice. Who do you like in the next election?
The guy that's gonna get it.
There you go. The guy, huh?
Hey,
boy.
we're not a political podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
We only talk about it a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Greg, are your
We
kids?
we only ask audience members who they're fucking voting for.
But we're a parenting podcast, and we take detours into people's voting records. Greg,
Yes.
are your kids embarrassed by you? I feel like you have like one of those really cute families where you all get along.
They like on vacations when I make big scenes. They think it's funny. Like we would go.
Like you get angry and make a scene, and that's funny to them?
No. Like if we go, we were jumping off these cliffs in Spain, as a matter of fact, and I was yelling. We were in Mexico, and I was yelling, "I'm a Mayan god." I'm a Mayan god, and all these Mexican people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
They love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But they don't like it when I'm just trying to be funny with them alone,
Yeah.
because it's never their type of humor.
Yeah.
But they like the big set pieces.
We were just in New York City to drop my son off at college, and when we were driving to our hotel, right near it, there's a restaurant called House of Lasagna, and when we drove by it, I said, "House of Lasagna looks like it's made of bricks to me." And my daughter laughed in the back seat, and she laughed, and then she went, "Damn it!" Like she was pissed at herself, like, "He got me! Damn it!" And it wasn't even a good one, but I was like, "Really?
Yeah.
Made of bricks? Okay, I'll take it."
I've been putting up a wall against you for years. That's a good one. I'm going to use that.
So my dad is like king of dad jokes.
Yeah.
And my husband it just is a dad thing, right?
Yeah.
That's preferable to like, oh no, I married my dad.
Right.
Accidentally. So, now I'm uncomfortable, but I'm gonna keep going forward. But anyway,
Hey, look, we all marry some version of somebody we shouldn't be marrying, and I don't mean that in my particular thing, but no, it's
universal.
It's like, you always find the person you're with. You're like, oh my God, that is so much like, and it could be an ex, it could be you, it could be like your brother. Like it just happens.
But it's deeply unromantic to think that really our subconscious are just like acting out bad stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, my dad, every morning when we would get ready for carpool, he'd say, "Did you bring your bathing suit?" Like
For carpool.
years,
Yeah.
for years and years and years. And there was never a laugh. There was just a groan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
I think someday. Well, that's borders on child abuse.
Yeah.
With that amount of repetition.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. We have a home.
He's got to mix up the material a little bit.
We have a home video, which is how you used to, the only way to record things back then, where it's my sister's birthday party, and you hear him off camera make a joke, and then and she was 6, and you see her like search her face scrunches up, and then you see her push her chair back and march over to him, and then you can hear her like chewing him out. Because she had asked him ahead of time, which we all did. We all asked him ahead of time, don't make any jokes, like just barely be at our party. You know?
Well, my daughter, I mean, yeah, she's profoundly embarrassed by me, and I kind of now feel like, you know, it's like, it's almost freeing. Like, I don't know if you ever had like I worked at a Mexican restaurant when I was in college, and there was an older waitress that worked there, and she just hated me, and I, you know, for a while I was like, what did I do? And then I realized, I did nothing, and it was freeing to know, like, oh, I did nothing. And with my daughter, it's a lot the same way. Like, oh, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I could be corny, and sometimes I think there is a bit of an aspect of dad jokes that are, it's like a little bit of a, you know, like, watch me be corny to the waitress, you know, yeah. and then she's like, and I don't mean the gross dad thing of like flirting, like I never do that shit, yeah. But like just puns. A corny, yeah, exactly, a corny joke like that. But she went with, I took her and the same friend that we took to Kauai, because they, like I say, they've been friends since they were 3 years old. We went to the mall. To the Americana, and it was just like I was just taking them out on a shopping day, and we were having dinner, and I had to sit at a different table at dinner, which that happens often. No. And the first couple times that it happened, I was offended, and then I was like, I get to eat by myself. I can look at my phone without anybody bitching, and I don't have to overhear 14-year-olds. You know, it's like, oh, this is freeing. You know, It's like, I feel like, you know, the driver, basically. You're like the limo driver. Like, I'll sit at the counter. You girls take a booth. Have them bring the check to me. But we were at the mall, and my daughter said, like, Dad, could you just follow back behind us? And so I was like, all right, fine. So I was 10 or 15 feet. She was farther. So it was like 30, 40 feet behind them that I was just kind of sticking with them, mainly because I have to pay for shit, you know? Yeah. And then I realized I was like, whatever at the time, like a 50-year-old man following 2 13-year-old girls around the mall. And you know, like, oh, this is okay.
And now the police are following
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Like, who's that guy? And you brought something up too that she once said, and I think it was when we were going to Kauai, and we were in the airport, and getting ready to, you know, getting the luggage and getting checked in, and she's like, why are you so happy? I said, because we're going to Hawaii on vacation. And she was like, oh, okay. And then as we were like going up the escalator, I was whistling something, and just from behind me I heard, no whistling! All right, no whistling.
Now,
okay.
Did you have any of this kind of stuff with your sons? Because I have a 2.5-year-old and a 6-month-old, both boys. And when I found out I was having boys, people were like, "Oh, the relationship between boys and their mother is so great." Whereas, like, if you were having a daughter, they'd be fraught. And I'm just wondering, do you think some of this stuff is father-daughter?
Well, yes. Although there is, I think that when they're teens, I noticed, like, when my son was 12, 13, 14, that's when he does stuff that I would say to my soon-to-be ex, I would say, you know, like, oh, don't put up with that bullshit. I know what he's trying to pull. He's not really upset about that, and, you know. And then she would, what I felt was like humor him when he was manipulating her.
Ooh, I get accused of indulging.
And that's it's kind of the opposite now with my daughter. I think that with her mom, she you know, does stuff that her mom is like, don't even give that a second, you know, entertain that for a second. And I'm just sort of like, oh, I don't know, she seems kind of upset, you know. So I think that there is like an intragender, you know, bullshit meter that happens with parents when they're teens, and I think, like, my son, he had to sort of challenge me when he was 11, 12, 13, 14, and the same thing my daughter with her mom, she kind of has to challenge her and be over everything that she said. Just, at the beginning of this last school year, I could go in and wake up my daughter and go like, wake up, and kind of like, tousle her hair or tickle her foot or something and give her a kiss, say, wake up, it's time to get to school. And she'd be kind of like, ha, 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 get away from me. And her mom would go into the room and be like, hi, honey. And I would just hear, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all right, listen, we got a lot of segments to do.
We do.
All right.
It's a highly produced show.
Like a
This is a
worm,
script.
lots of segments. Right?
Your daughter would
But
love
yes.
that show.
Should we just
All right, let's go to should we do some news?
let's do some news.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Allison, why don't you read us a story?
All right. Well, Andy, are you familiar with the term lawnmower parent?
No.
So you're familiar with
Helicopter parent,
right?
yes.
So a helicopter
That
parent
is one that hovers.
hovers.
Yes.
A lawnmower parent actually physically removes the obstacles that are in the path of the kid. So
Okay.
it's like even more smothering.
Right.
So here are.
Is that like a Lori Loughlin kind of thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that it? Yeah.
Honestly,
That's a
that's
power
why when I
mower. Yeah,
first
yeah.
read the term, I thought of Lori.
That's a bulldozer parent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Felicity.
That's a John Deere.
So here are some signs that you might be a lawnmower parent. My kids are so young that I haven't really had a chance to figure out if I am this or not. But
Yeah.
a lot of these things where I'm like, yeah, I think I would do
How
that.
old are your kids?
2.5 and 6 months.
Oh yeah, they're barely gelled.
Right.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
embryonic
That
and mushy.
custard isn't set.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like Elliot is my older one, and I feel like he's hatched a bit. Like
Yeah.
he's got a personality, he has opinions.
Yeah.
Owen, not so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
yet.
It takes a while.
But you
Yeah.
should be
might be
lawnmower
dumb.
parenting
I
at that age.
Yes.
That you have to be. That's your job.
Yes,
It's
yes.
once they get I guess once they turn maybe 6, then you can start going. They need to fail and be in pain sometimes. It's good for them.
Irish much?
I should talk to your dad. Very similar style.
So, okay, I would like to know if you guys ever bring forgotten belongings to school.
I've done that.
I didn't. To me, that's not bad. To me, that's kind.
Yeah, but what happens is after a while you have to go, nope, fuck you. I'm not doing this anymore because they will always forget things.
I see. So in
Yeah.
order to make them remember, they have to have consequences.
Precisely.
Right.
All
I
right.
bring house keys, no vape pens. I stopped bringing those to school.
You pick up their room for them, do their laundry, and clean up their dinner plates.
Guilty.
Mostly dinner plates. Mostly, because there's a lot of stuff, especially with my daughter, because where she walks into the house and as she's like saying, going from the front door to the kitchen, she kicks off her shoes, and just wherever she kicks them off that's where they stay. And after 1,200 times, literally, please just don't do that. Pick them up and put them somewhere out of the way. After a while, it's like, you know what? I'm dealing with an animal. It's less stress for me to just go pick up these fucking shoes and let her college roommate deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now that's the thing. It's like when is it for you and when is it for them? Because you really
this
should
pops
be
up in
teaching
marriage,
them.
too.
Right. You
Yeah.
should be teaching them how to behave and giving them boundaries.
Yeah.
And even though it takes more effort in the long run, it's good for
Right.
them. But after 1,200 times, you go, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to not do my homework. That wasn't my teacher's fault. You know what I mean? And that's like, as a parent, like, I'm trying to teach her this and she's not learning it. So, all right, fuck you. I'll pick up your shoes. And that takes 2 seconds as opposed to, get back down here. Get back down here.
Yeah.
I mean it. Get back. No, not a sec. You know, it's just like, Jesus, I'll just go pick up the shoes.
Yeah.
You know?
You blame their teachers for their bad grades.
No.
Never.
My kids get good grades. This is smug juice.
Oh, what is the smuggest juice?
Oh, that's just whiskey and soda.
Oh no, but I'm just thinking like, what would a smug person drink?
Oh.
Oh.
Campari?
Courvoisier.
Because that's what you gave the people
That's
the
right.
ugliest tree
Courvoisier.
contest.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, Grandpa, we got to get you back to the farm. Give me some of that Courvoisier.
See, I was gonna go as I'm 44, so I'm the youngster here. I was gonna go with like kombucha or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think it changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's fluid. Okay.
Tell your daughter that joke when you get home, Andy.
You push for them to be in classes or activities above their level. So like, I need them to be in the, AP whatever.
No, I don't think so.
I always felt like my kid is going to end up. I'm a big believer that, like, because all that's working backwards from college, of like, you have to be in all AP and all honors and all that. And I always felt like, there's so many good colleges in the country and universities, and your kid doesn't need to be at an Ivy League school for their life to work out okay. My son's going to DePaul. It's a good school. It's a Jesuit Catholic school in the Midwest. It's going to be a totally different experience being in Chicago, and he's where he should be grades-wise. He's not the brightest kid in the world. No, I'm kidding. He's very smart. But I mean, the point is,
DePaul's a very good school.
We could have pushed him to go to a higher level school if we'd been on him and you got to take AP. But like, to what end? To stress him out?
And at a certain point, it's their life.
Right.
Like when because my son just went through all that college application stuff, and there was a lot of stress involved in it, and I was just kind of like, about him getting meeting these deadlines and stuff, and I was kind of like, well, if he fucks up the deadlines, he won't go to that school.
Right.
Exactly. And he'll learn like, oh yeah, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Because if he goes to college and everything to get him there has been done for him, we're not going to be there to make sure that he hits all the deadlines when he's in college.
Did you help him with the essay?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
What was his essay
Well,
about?
he went to art school too. I mean, he was applying to art school, so it's a different thing. So it was like, some of them were ridiculous. You have to have a portfolio. He's a painter. You had to have a portfolio. And then there were some schools, and you submit them all through this same app that I don't remember. But that's the same with, it's a standardized app for applications to all college, and I can't remember the name of it. But the art school version was you upload photos of artwork. And then there were different art schools that be like, create 10 paintings for us based on one word that we give you. And those were the ones where he was like, no, no. There's plenty other places where I can learn to paint. Yeah.
Did you help your son?
I did. He wanted to make a super funny one, and so I punched it up.
Yeah.
And then he killed all my punches.
Yeah.
He's like, no, that's not. He wanted it to be organic in the end. I think he wanted it to be funny, but in the end, it was good. I liked it.
The counselor, the college counselor at his school definitely helps him with that.
Oh, really?
But that's like you're dealing with expert help there. Like, I don't know what I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably like put wise ass jokes in there that would keep him from getting in places.
Well, and then his buddy was the valedictorian. He was the speaker, so he wanted me to help him with his speech for commencement. And it was Santa Monica High School, which is where Stephen Miller went to school.
Oh, nice.
And so I wrote all these jokes shitting on Stephen Miller. And he said the principal read his speech and said, you can't make Stephen Miller jokes at the graduation.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You handle any type of situation that might make them uncomfortable by talking for them.
No.
No.
I might have done that when they were younger, but I also, too, I always insisted my kids talk to people. There was no hiding behind our legs. It was always, that person is talking to you, talk to them. Like, that was kind of a basic
That's the best thing you could do.
Yeah, and then as they got older, too, there'd be things like, I forgot to get French fries. Well, here's a couple bucks. Could you get them for me? Like, no, you have to go up and make a simple transaction for French fries. I can't do it. Just no, you go up and you say, small fries, please. And then they ask for money and you give them the money. Oh!
And then they get a treat. They
Yeah,
do
and
it
then they
get a
made it
treat.
through, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I did it. Woo!
And then lastly, you break up fights between friends and siblings before they're resolved. So I have a sister, and my parents never let us fight. The second we would raise our voices, we'd just hear, girls!
No.
Which, we're still irritated by it.
Yeah. No, that's just dumb. That's like grandma stuff.
Yeah.
Don't you raise your voice?
Right.
Sometimes you got to do with
You
that.
have to resolve conflict, yeah.
I like to say that I really, although I did when my son was young, because I was raised being spanked, and I had this notion in this kind of crusty Midwestern notion in my head that sometimes you need to make the point, and so I spanked my son a couple times, and I realized, this makes me feel awful, and this is totally about me. This is totally about me not wanting to have to explain this situation anymore. I just want it to be over. I want to inflict some pain and have it be over. And so, like, my daughter never did, but I did like to say the only corporal punishment that they got was on their eardrums. Like, I did save the dad yell for. I think I did a pretty good job of saving it for when it really mattered.
And my
because they
kids
took it serious.
Yeah, my
when
kids
Dad
did-
yelled, it was like, oh shit,
they
something
bring
just
it up.
changed.
They bring it up. My daughter, when she was about, oh my God, she was only like 12, and it was Halloween, and we were in Venice at the canals, which is like all these interior designers and costume designers all live in this section of Venice.
Yeah.
So it's the coolest place to go for Halloween.
Yeah.
There's like dry ice machines blowing smoke, and there's goblins coming down on zip wires. And so they go out there for 20 minutes, her and her friends, and we're at the parents' house who have made like some chili, and all the parents are hanging out. So we're like, all right, this is a good hang. So then all of a sudden we get a call from our friend Martha, and she goes, that JoJo's in Santa Monica right now with a bunch of friends. I'm like, what? They ordered an Uber because they heard about a party, a 12-year-old party, 15 minutes away, and 6 girls. First of all, who's the driver? 6 12-year-olds get in on Halloween night into your car, and you're like, yeah, this makes sense.
Hello, girls.
Guess what I'm dressed as tonight? And so we went and picked her up, and I screamed at her, and I don't scream at them, and I screamed at her, and to this day, once in a while, she just brings it. Remember that time you yelled at me on Halloween?
Well, she does.
Yeah.
Is she bringing it up like she's like, have you thought about what you've done, Dad?
Yeah. Yeah, and I have thought about it, and I would do it the same way again. Because I never hit them, but God, I wanted to sometimes. Because like you, I was hit. So that is ingrained. That is in your DNA, that your response to a kid acting badly is to inflict pain.
Yeah, and I also think that there's this notion, if you're in possession of any amount of self-love, that like, well, however they made me is the way to do it. So it's like, somebody beat the shit out of me and I'm great.
Yeah.
While not realizing like, I have horrible problems with authority. I'm incredibly frustrated when someone disagrees with me.
Is it weird that I duck when people go to hug me?
Like, at what age were your kids when you felt that sort of, I feel this rage. I feel a frustration and a rage toward them? Because I was spanked a few times, and now, and my parents would also, not regarding the spanking, but just in general, they would say stuff to me like anything I took issue with in their parenting, like, when you have kids, you'll understand.
Yeah.
And sort of to go back to what you were saying, now that I have kids, I understand less.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how you could ever treat a kid that way. So I just look at my little guys, and I think, like, I could never imagine laying a hand on them, except Elliot's new thing is that he won't let me go to the bathroom. So when I try to, not that I go to the
That's
bathroom.
That's a kinky kid.
So he like...
He wears a little German uniform.
Yeah. Hold your Wasser, mein Mutter.
You will not make stinky poopy.
My mother will be pure.
Mine poop.
So he'll, very new, physically try to pull me off of the toilet. Like, he'll grab my shirt and he'll try to pull me.
How old is he?
2.5.
Oh, okay.
And I am like, oh, here's that frustration and that anger.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like
that's-
interfering with a biological thing.
Right. Yeah.
Not, but I haven't. I mean, but I still. I don't think I would. No, I can say I would never lay a hand on him. But yeah, like at what? I just feel like maybe my kids aren't old enough for me to really feel that frustration.
Well, I think he's old enough to know that you deserve some fucking privacy when you're shitting.
Yeah.
You know? Like, mommy needs to shit. Mommy would like to be alone when she's shitting, so back off.
Oh, no, you don't understand. You do not get to shit alone ever.
Well, he's used to you coaching him through a shit, so
Right.
he thinks it's like the family way.
Why don't you just put him under a laundry basket with a cinder block on it? Let her rip. Come
Right.
back, he'll be fine.
That's right. It's the way
Leave him
they
with
He
some
won't even-
kibble.
He won't even let me. I'll get him a Kong. You know what that is? It's like that.
Oh, yeah.
He won't even let me pee. It's a new
Oh,
thing.
my God.
I don't like it very much.
Yeah, you need to nip
need to
that
break
in the
it.
bud. Yeah. Absolutely.
With a laundry basket and a cinder block.
That would be something. Or just closing the door.
Yeah.
But yes, you're
And
right.
I'd say this as someone I lived in an open bathroom door family.
Okay.
I think that's a very big difference in lots of people. And like we were, like when I was a little kid, it would be like we would go into the store and like go in and my mom's on the toilet and like, I need money, get me my purse. And bringing my mom's purse to her while she's on the toilet and she's like, I don't have any cash in here, go get my checkbook, while she's on the, and
You
just,
didn't
yeah,
like
and it
that?
just, no, I didn't know, it was just normal to me, and I honestly don't think I think it's like the preciousness that people put around shitting and pissing, it's like,
You're paying for your school lunch in the cafeteria. He's like, why does your money smell like shit? What the-
why is this written on a toilet paper? He said,
I owe you on Charmin. All right, listen.
Should we revisit the script for a moment?
We have so much to get
I
to.
know. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a
All right.
second.
First of all, let's do an ad.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We'll do it later.
Oh, we did really well. Okay.
All right. Should we do highs and
Let's
lows?
do some highs and lows. This is where we share the highs and lows of our life and our week.
the big high of the last week and a half is that I got a dog.
Oh,
yes.
I got a dog.
Yay.
So, because I live in an apartment, and I live 5 minutes from where my daughter lives, and my son just moved, and they're all, except for my daughter, isn't allergic to cats. Everyone else, even me a little bit, is allergic to cats, and I love kitties. If it were up, I'd have a
Did you say that
menagerie.
for the cat's benefit?
I
You might
said
be
no.
listening.
I mean, because no. That's the voice in me that loves cats. Goes, I love kitties. And I mean, I'd have fucking goats if they'd let me. I just like animals. So I was gonna get a cat because I thought it'd be the easiest thing, and my daughter would appreciate it so much because she could never have a cat in our house, and because my son was going to college, but I talked to him about it before I ever talked to her about it, because I thought, maybe he goes to friends' houses, and I bought an air cleaner for every room in the apartment, and he said, he goes, I would love for you to have a cat, and I love cats, but I would never be able to sleep over at your place. And I was like, oh, well, I'd look like a real dick if I got a cat now. So then it just became, okay, I'm going to get a dog. And my daughter found this rescue immediately when I told her, I think I might get a dog. Like, honestly, half hour later, here's some puppies we have to go see tomorrow. And so we went to this rescue place on Fairfax, the unfortunately named Bark and Bitches.
Oh yeah.
But it's like a retail store, and then they have dogs, but all the dogs are rescue. And you go in, and the puppies were in the front window, and then the rest of the store was just 12 giant dogs, and some little dogs too, just roaming around free. And we had to wait a while, and we met this, all the dogs. When I walked in the place, there was some kind of husky mix that literally, because you walk in and there's a little gate, a safety gate, and I walk in through the gate, 2 paws on my shoulder, and like a big tongue in my face from this husky. And I was like, this is a hard sell, buddy. Should have romanced me a little here. Because I was like, I mean, there was part of me that was like, oh my God, I would love, and then I was like, oh my, no, you are too much. He was just like, too much, And And then we found this border collie mix that was just kind of sitting chewing on something. And we sat down with her, and she was just super sweet and gentle and friendly. Went to talk about the puppies, my building. They want to see my lease. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. I remember hearing this. They have restricted breeds. And pit mixes are one of them that are restricted. And then so we didn't get the pit puppies, and we got this dog instead. And after I got the dog, I realized, I looked at the lease, and it's like boxers are restricted, and on the balcony below me is a boxer. And when I got the dog, it's like huskies are excluded. There's 2 huskies that attack her every morning in the dog run. And there's people told me that there's straight up fucking pit bulls in the building. So I could have got away with it, but I didn't have to have a puppy then. So it all worked out great.
That's
because
smart.
we got this super fantastically sweet, chill dog that was housebroken, that they didn't even know she was housebroken, and she's just the best.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's really, really
Here's
great.
what you can look forward to. My dog, who I dislike for many reasons, and I don't want to say this because people are going to get bummed out. He's old, and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
It's time.
It happens.
It's time. And he won't. And so my wife's like, I've got a checkup today for brulee. And I'm like, are we gonna spend more? We're chasing good money with bad money here. We're gonna spend money to keep him well. And so she brings him in, and she calls me up, and she goes, you remember that deer antler chew toy we got him? Apparently, those are, and I'll say this to all of you, do not buy those for your dogs. He split his molar.
Oh no.
$1,200.
Oh.
Welcome back, Brulee.
And is that to repair it?
No,
like, did
remove
they
it.
do a root canal
They gotta
and put in
put
a
it-
crown?
Yeah, a dental implant.
Really?
They put him under, which is why it's so expensive, and then
Right.
they have to remove it, and so it's $1,200.
Wow.
So he'll get me, and then every time we go away, it's like it's really expensive to board them because he has to take Prozac, and then my other dog we have to put.
He comes from such a loving home. It's probably very upsetting to be away from you.
I give him mine. And then the other one gets eye drops every day because she has dry eyes. So when you board them, they charge you like an extra $40. So it's $120 a night to board them. You go away for a week, that's $1,000.
Yeah.
We go away a few times a year. It's like, this is crazy money.
Yeah.
I added it up. I think we will have spent $30,000 on Brulee.
Wow.
From cradle to grave. Because he chewed up furniture, pissed on rugs. There was a lawsuit. A lot of stuff.
Probably angry about that fucking name.
No. We rescued him and he had that.
Oh, all
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah.
All right.
That was his rescue
but
name.
that means that like the shelter named him that 2 days before.
I don't know his backstory.
Have you ever asked?
No, I feel like.
See, our two, the dogs that my kids have grown up with, both were rescues, and they came named, the first one Kiwi, and the second one Tango, and both times they said to our kids, like, well, you can name them whatever they want, and both kids were like, no, that's his name. Like, okay, all right, Tango it is, you know.
Those are
great.
cute names. What is your current dog?
Daisy. We
Oh.
named her Daisy because her place, well, she was picked up in Kern County on the streets of Bakersfield. And that pound named her Lindsay. Like, because they just assigned, they have to name them something.
Right.
Named her Lindsay, and then when she got to L.A., she became Contessa. And we were just like, there's no fucking way we're going to be saying, going, Contessa! Oh, Contessa!
And then what do you
Your
call
brulee is ready.
Meanwhile, what do you call Contessa for short?
Well,
You know,
my
you're-
daughter was like, maybe Tessa or Tessie, and I was just
go
like,
with the second half.
Let's go with, yeah. Oh, right. Conti! I know it's Conti. I'm sorry. Like the composer Bill Conti? That's for you Len Curiou fans.
Now,
All right,
what was your low?
I think we went with highs, didn't we? We started
Oh
with
yeah,
highs?
sorry, we're starting with highs.
Let's start with highs. I played, and Andy and I are golf buddies, and I took Owen out golfing the 2 times in the last 3 days, and that is just nothing makes me happier. No cell phones, just 4 hours of talking and hanging out, and it's just the greatest. So that was my high. Did you play golf with William at all?
No, he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, most kids don't.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He likes playing tennis, but he didn't really ever play any team sports because of a very early age. He told me, I don't want to play any sport where other parents are yelling. I went, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
No problem. And then, like, my daughter, she played 1 game of t-ball, and she kept just coming off the field. Like, just she was standing out, and she was like kind of in center field, and she'd just be like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm leaving." And so I had to actually go and stand with her in center field. And then she was like on the drive home, she's like, "I'm never doing that again." And she was like 5 or 6. So I was like, "Okay, fine, yeah. If you're not gonna stay on the field, I guess I can't really force. What am I gonna staple your feet to the base or something?"
I would pay so much money for a photo of you in center field with your daughter.
Just standing there, and I mean, not to umpire or coach or anything.
Yeah.
I just was like keeping her there.
Just the bouncer.
Yeah. Well, she had attention issues, and she, for like the first 3 years of school, and it diminished as it went on, but she would just leave class. And teachers would fucking shit their, like you look and like there's a kid missing. And they would find her like 2 buildings over just hanging out, just like, I got bored.
Yep.
Decided to wander. Or she'd go talk to the school nurse because she liked the school nurse. So just go like, she'd just like wander around like, I'm going to check in with somebody. Oh, she's not looking. Bye. And then it was all the poor teachers,
Yeah.
It's just terrifying, because it's like when your own kid, they're missing for a minute, like that's panicky. But I swear it's worse when it's somebody else's kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how am I going to tell them? I mean, I could tell me. I lost him. But,
I was remembering a friend's birthday party. I want to say we were like 10 or 11. It was at a roller rink because in Orange County you had 2 options for birthday. Now I feel like it's changed. But back then you had 2 options. Either you went to a roller rink or an ice skating rink.
Yeah.
Sometimes you went miniature golf.
Or bowling
That was
alley.
it. Bowling alley.
Yeah.
We didn't do a lot of bowling alley parties at
Really?
that age. Yeah.
Mm.
But so anyway, all of us sitting on the floor of the minivan driving away, and then 10 or so minutes into driving away, it was my friend's party, realizing that we left a kid there.
Oh, boy.
I was thinking about that, like, how does that happen?
Oh. Oh, my God, this is the best thing ever. This friend of my daughter's, her family is an old Hancock Park family, and they belong to one of those beach clubs, like right on PCH in Santa Monica. And the grandparents took the daughters to the beach club, and my daughter wasn't there. This is just, they told me, the grandparents had a dinner party to go to. They went back to Hancock Park and forgot that they brought the girls.
Oh my God!
From Santa Monica to Hancock Park.
How does that happen?
I don't know. And they're like at some dinner party, and the girls are like, "Where did our grandparents go?"
Oh my God!
Oh, we forgot.
My wife, who grew up in New York City, they went up to Nova Scotia. Her family had a Volkswagen Beetle, and they went up with 4 kids, 2 adults, to Nova Scotia, which is fucking like 18 hours or something crazy.
Yeah.
And they drove back, and they did it in a straight shot, and they were so tired they got to they were on the Mass Turnpike or something, and they went to get some food, and they got in the car, and they were almost all the way back to New York City when they realized one of the children was not in the car.
Oh.
They left her at a fucking rest stop
In Massachusetts.
Yeah. And I only say this because her father just died, so he wouldn't hear me outing him for this. But
Been saving this
and
up.
there's no cell phones. You can't call up and go,
No,
we'll
no,
be
no.
back in 2 hours.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
an eye out
yeah,
for it.
yeah. And also, too, just call the rest stop and say, is there a little girl there unattended? Could you hold on to her for us? Strange voice on the phone.
Oh, God. Yeah, and it was just last year, too. Warren, what's your high? Allison?
My high is this show.
There you go. I like it.
Oh,
right.
that's nice.
I am happy to share this evening with all of you guys and these two people, and especially you. Yeah.
Sean Burgess.
Sean, thanks for coming.
All right.
All right, and now all of our lows. I'll start because my high was artificial. So this
Way to take the fucking love out of it. It
I'm
was
sorry.
such a nice high.
I'm just kidding. It was genuine.
Yeah.
I'm just making a joke. This morning, so Elliot he generally sleeps through the night, really good sleeper. He's my older son. But this morning on the baby monitor at 4 a.m., I hear this very soft crying, and I hear him saying, "Mommy," and I hear him saying, "Out, Mommy, out," and crying. So I think, okay, I'm just going to give it a few minutes because maybe he'll fall back asleep. But then he ramps up. And Daniel, that's my husband, and I have an agreement, which is like between a certain set of hours, that's him, and then I come on duty super early in the morning because he hates early mornings. So this was 4 a.m. This was still in his zone. But he was like pretending that he didn't really hear it. And I'm like, Daniel, Elliot's up. And so then Elliot was ramping up. And so I don't know how the decision got made that I would go get him. I think because my tolerance for hearing him cry is less. So on my way out the door, I said, "This is in your time zone, though." and he's like, "I know." So anyway, went into Elliot's room and got him out of the crib, and then tried to convince him to come. It's funny that I'm trying to convince him to sleep in bed with Daniel and me, because most parents are trying to get their kid out of bed. Like, he's never had an interest in that. It's that either he's in bed with us or he's in the living room wanting to watch TV or like go. He went like running toward the door to outside, like wanting to play outside, and then I could tell he's like, oh, it's dark. Anyway, long story short, I've been up since 4 a.m. and I'm angry. That's my low.
Let me go next because it ties into my low.
Okay.
Which is I'm highly medicated, and I have two different sets of pill boxes. One is the morning one, and one is the before the bed one, because I'm 97 years old, and so I have ADHD, and so I take Ritalin for it, and then at night, because I take Ritalin for it, and I'm Judy Garland, I take a sleeping pill. So.
Well, it's the studio's doing.
Somewhere another show.
He's getting too fat.
I can fix that. And so among my handful of pills in my pill box. So the thing is, my wife won't let me leave a little night light on because it keeps her awake at night. So when I do shows at night, so I come home, at midnight or 1 in the morning, and then I take off my shoes. I even take off my belt in the other room because it rattles. Yes. And I tiptoe in, and then I use my cell phone to like make sure I'm not stepping on a dog, which I do sometimes. Yeah. And so my heart is racing because I'm trying not to step on dogs. I'm trying not to wake her, and then I got to go over, get my little pill box, take my pills before I get into bed so I don't wake her. And last Thursday, I took the morning pills at 1 in the morning. So I'm laying in bed going like, why am I not getting dressed? Why am I actually getting more ramped up right now? Because I took Ritalin at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I took amphetamine. Yes. Straight up amphetamine.
So I was up all fucking day. And I just stayed up. I didn't sleep for 36 hours. Yeah. So
you
now,
should have taken care of Elliot.
Yeah, right.
You were up.
I should have called you.
Right.
So now when that happens, I'll call you.
Thank you.
You could have just quick got an Uber license, gone out and made some money.
Right.
You're going to be up anyway.
I mean, what a waste of cash.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, my low is that my body has finally turned against me and said no more dairy.
Oh, no.
And I'm from the fucking Midwest.
Are you from Wisconsin?
No, I'm from Illinois, but, Wisconsin is sort of like our Riviera. And I mean, and in terms of like dairy consumption, Illinois is just like a shade below. Like you go to Chicago, there's still like there's new fancy places too, but you go to like a regular old staple Chicago place, and having lived here for so long, it's like you just brought me food for $3. It's just these fucking gigantic portions of and cheese and too much sugar and all kinds of stuff. But I was having poo-poo problems, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I went out to dinner with my kids, and afterwards we had ice cream, which I don't eat ice cream a lot, just because trying to stay away from sweets and whatever. And I had a scoop on Larchmont Jenny's ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that fucking milkiest chocolate. It's like if God made a milk dud or something. And towards the end of the scoop, it was one scoop, and towards the end of it, I was kind of like, this is kind of rich, that feeling of just like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, maybe I'm, and then I had the fucking stomach flu for 2 hours. I went home and just was like on the toilet miserable and like, oh, the party is over. Hello, almond milk, But it's,
So you made it 52 years before you realized you were lactose intolerant?
No.
Or do you think your body
It changed. It
Right.
changed. Yeah, no, and like I have a friend that's super into this stuff, and she's like, well, 85% of the human population is actually lactose intolerant. They just put up with it, and then I had so many people tell me like, yep, same with me. I was fine until I wasn't fine, But I mean, people get weird like shellfish allergies in their
Later in
lives.
life.
Yeah, your body is constantly trying to fuck you.
Well, my answer to you is oat milk. How many people?
I like oat milk fine. I
the greatest.
yeah, and I mean, I don't even, for cereal and coffee, I don't really mind the milk substitute so much, but it is like really good cheese. Like,
You can have nut cheese now.
no, I got your nut cheese. It's sorry, it was right there. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but
I have ointment for that, by the way. All right. What's that? Oh, let's play a game. We were
Okay.
debating
A
whether to bring
game.
up this game.
All right.
Because you're so much more than a game show sidekick, but we did
no,
think
I'm
of
a
a
talk
game.
show sidekick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm actually a game show host.
Oh,
Never,
that's right.
never successfully really yet. Although I did do a Food Network game show.
You did?
Terribly ill-advised
What was it?
game show or food show network. It was
called Guess
like
the Dairy.
It was like Hollywood Game Night. It was like Hollywood Game Night, but on the Food Network. So it was kind of like a dinner party at my house, which was like decorated like a Banana Republic or something, and then there would be little parlor games like there was, and it was a half-hour show. It was the only half-hour show on their entire lineup. So what are they going to put it on with?
Right.
Just like, so it just it was a nighttime one,
Yeah.
and but I got a lot of free suits out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg's alarm
All right.
is going off.
It's
Is it
going off,
time
which
for you to
means
take your nighttime
we're
pills?
on the warning track. We have 5 minutes left.
Oh my God!
So
there's
we're
so
gonna
much
play
to
this
get-
game real quick, and then we'll figure out what to do. But here it is.
What do
This
we
is
want-
called.
Do we
what?
want to call someone up from the audience, or are we jettisoning
Yeah, let's
that?
do it. This
Who-
guy's very excited.
Yeah, just get up here.
Sean, you come up.
Get up here.
This
Is
is
this for
called-
him?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for him.
Okay.
Why don't you sit on the black stool? And this game is called Side.
Name that side. This game
This
is
is called Side Kick It.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, we're gonna name the TV show, and then you gonna name them.
Yeah, we're gonna name the host,
The
and
top-
then you name the sidekick, and you buzz in with your name.
With my name?
Yes.
No, you don't buzz in. You did we?
No, we can't do the
I'm
Family
not-
Feud with this one because
can't.
it's gonna
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
We're gonna buzz in with.
Okay, buzz in.
Did you get
But who's
it?
he buzzing in against?
You.
You,
Oh,
he's
I'm.
playing
Ah, okay.
Oh, did
I
we
didn't get
put-
that part. I thought he was the sucker.
We just
No,
made this up.
You're both the sucker.
All right, all right.
Yeah, he's our audience sucker. You're
All
our
right.
guest sucker. Okay. All
Do I
right.
have to buzz in with his name because I forget it?
It's Sean, right?
Sean.
You say
all right.
say
Sean and
Andy.
you say Andy.
Andy, okay.
Yeah.
Unless you want to also say
No,
Sean.
I think I'm gonna say Andy.
Okay.
I don't. I
say
mean,
Andy.
no, you say Sean.
Oh boy.
I think it's better.
Okay, we're gonna start.
I'll get confused.
Let the chips fall where they may. Here
Yeah.
we go. Number 1, Chelsea Handler.
Andy,
Yes.
talk show host.
No, you have to name her sidekick. You have to name her side. Oh, Sean.
McDonald.
Chewy.
Yes. Okay.
Chewy, that's right.
Can you keep score?
Okay, one.
I just got one. You don't even know what happened.
Okay. Number 2, James Corden. You're buzzing. Who is?
You know what
James?
you're gonna find out is I don't watch one of those fucking things. I don't.
If neither of you get it, we'll take a shout out from the audience. If
Yeah.
that person gets
Oh
it
wait.
right-
Oh holy
Yes.
fuck! I should know this. Reggie Watts.
Yes.
go.
Because he's
Two
like
for
an actual
Andy.
personal friend of mine.
That
But
would've been a big fuck
I
up.
really seriously don't like.
That would've
I've
been-
known Stephen Colbert for a gazillion years, and we are friends, and I have never seen a minute of his show because I just,
Oh, it's
it's
good.
like it's like a plumber going home and watching HGTV. I don't want to see that shit.
Well, this is going to be a fun quiz then. Okay.
Well, I've already got 2.
That's right.
Sean's really tanking.
Which, by the way, is the name of
Oh
the.
yes,
We're-
Sean.
Sean, no, they're
Danny's
naming
gonna-
a talk show host, and you just have to name their sidekick.
Oh.
Like they said Chelsea Handler, and I said Chewy. They said James Corden, I said Reggie Watts.
Got it.
And when you have
Waylon
the
Flowers, Madam.
Answer, and when you have the answer, say your name, not Andy's name.
Just say Sean.
Yeah.
Just say Sean.
Now I feel bad. Maybe I didn't. Okay.
No.
Okay.
It was crystal clear.
Okay. All right. Number 4, Craig. Oh no, sorry. Number 3, Jay Leno.
Oh, Andy,
Yes.
should I give you a chance? Go ahead, you do it. He doesn't know.
I don't know.
His handler doesn't know, or his handler says no. Kevin Eubanks.
Correct.
Or prior to that, it was Wynton Marsalis?
Was it Brandon?
Or was it
Winton?
Branford Marsalis?
I can't remember which one's
Yeah,
better.
it was Branford.
It was the better
Don't,
one.
don't
Yeah.
swing for the fences, my friend. You got that point. Okay. Number 4, Craig Ferguson.
This is a tricky one.
I don't think he had one.
He had like a puppet called Jeff Peterson.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's a terrible choice.
All right, let's cut to the
I'd like
last
to get
two.
in the time machine and talk to
Okay.
him.
Number 7, Adolf Hitler.
Andy, Ava Braun?
Ooh, no, I'm sorry.
Sean for the steal. Adolf Hitler's sidekick.
What? But
There's actually 2. There's 2 we'll accept. Ava Braun's not one of them.
Yeah. Well, you got one?
Not
Mussolini?
No,
not a
that's
bad
his
guess.
peer.
They were pals.
Yeah.
Buddy?
Yeah.
Do you consider Goebbels?
Yes, that's who
We'll
we're
take
ding, ding,
Goebbels.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding. That's what we're looking. We
And would the
also
other
we're
be
taking-
Himmler?
Yes.
Himmler would be the other one.
Okay.
2 more for Andy.
I'm
And-
really embarrassed I didn't get my Nazi stuff right.
How dare you?
And lastly, for the win, Adam Carolla.
You.
Yes.
Yeah! You got it!
I won.
Well done. All right, let's-
I won.
We have a choice
Sean.
for you.
Sean, we have gift bags for you. We'll give them to you after the show. What T-shirt size do you wear? Okay.
Okay, good.
Great.
Thank you, Sean. That was delightful.
All right.
Congratulations
so
on that richly
I
deserved
totally
win.
kicked your ass.
We that'll do it. We got to get Andy out of here. Have another round of applause for
Thank
Andy
you so
Richter.
much. Thank you, guys.
If you've not listened to his podcast, he has a podcast called The 3 Questions with Andy Richter. You can get it on Earwolf. I've heard it. It's fucking great. It goes heavy, but it's funny. It's really good.
Dak
So,
Shepard today.
Oh, nice.
So with Dak
wow.
Shepard came out
Nicely
today.
done.
And it's a good one.
All right, good.
I mean, I wouldn't say, it's a shitty one, but it's truly a good one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you
All right.
had any shitty ones?
No, not yet. I actually am. It's new enough that I'm still talking to people that I want to talk to, and I'm, eventually it'll sort of get to people where it's like, who are they? I got to do one, so okay.
So you
Gotta
have
talk
my
to
number.
somebody for an hour.
Okay.
Greg is
Yeah.
available when you get to that point.
I'll get to him. Oh, I'll get to him.
Greg, what do you want to plug?
Just come see me. Go to fitzdog.com for tour dates. Fitzdog Radio is the podcast.
And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe, download, leave comments. It helps this podcast. Thank you so much. I have another podcast, Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. All stuff for me is at AlisonRosen.com. And I'm on Cameo. Greg and I are both on Cameo.
Yeah.
Go find us on Cameo.
I bet you were real thrilled when Conan came out with his podcast and named it what he named it.
I loved it.
What's it
I
called?
said, it's called Conan O'Brien Needs a Fucking Friend.
Oh, really?
Without the fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Conan
yeah.
O'Brien Needs a Friend. And then now there's Jeff Dye has his friendship podcast, and then Sashir Zameda and Nicole Byer have their podcast, Best Friends. I invented friendship, you guys.
It's good
Thank
for
you.
all of us. It's
Yeah.
all good for all of us.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.